Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Emma.
I'm Henry, and today we're talking about the conversation you've been avoiding. The one sitting in your chest like a rock. The one you rehearse in the shower at midnight but never actually have.
The difficult conversation.
The difficult conversation. With your partner, your parent, your friend, your boss. The one where you finally say the thing you've been swallowing for weeks or months or, honestly, years.
And this is not a relationship advice episode. We're not therapists, but we are two people who've had these conversations. Badly. And sometimes well. And today, we're going to talk about what that looks like in real, honest, modern English.
B1 to B2. Real vocabulary for real emotions. Let's go.
So, why do we avoid difficult conversations? Like, we know we need to have them. We know things are getting worse by staying silent. We know the rock in our chest is getting heavier, and yet, we don't say anything.
Because saying something makes it real. Right now, the problem lives in your head. It's private. It's controllable. You can tell yourself, maybe I'm overreacting, or maybe it'll fix itself. But the second you say it out loud, to the other person, it becomes real. It's in the room, and you can't unsay it.
And that's terrifying. Because what if you say it and they get angry? What if you say it and they leave? What if you say it and they cry? What if you say it wrong and it makes everything worse?
So you stay quiet, and the quiet feels safe. But, and this is from a quote I read that wrecked me, a real conversation only destroys something that is fake. If the relationship is real, the conversation makes it stronger.
A real conversation only destroys something that is fake.
Think about that. If you're afraid that one honest conversation will destroy your relationship, maybe what you're really afraid of is finding out the relationship isn't as strong as you thought.
Henry, that's heavy. But I think it's true. The conversations we avoid aren't protecting the relationship. They're protecting the illusion that everything is fine.
And illusions don't keep you warm at night.
And, okay, I've done this. I've avoided conversations for months. There was this one time, with an ex, where something was bothering me for 4 months. And every day I'd think, I should say something. And every day I'd talk myself out of it.
What was the excuse?
It's not the right time. That was my excuse. Not the right time. Monday, too stressful. Tuesday, he's tired. Wednesday, we just had a nice dinner, don't ruin it. Thursday, almost the weekend, don't start drama. Friday, it's the weekend, be fun. And the cycle repeats.
There's never a right time for a hard conversation. If you wait for the right time, you'll wait forever. Because your brain will always find a reason to postpone.
And here's what happened. I didn't say anything for 4 months. And then one night, over something tiny, he loaded the dishwasher wrong. I exploded. 4 months of unsaid feelings came out over forks and plates. And he stood there looking at me like I'd lost my mind. Because to him, it was about the dishwasher. But to me, it was about everything I'd been swallowing since January.
The dishwasher was never about the dishwasher.
It's never about the dishwasher. It's about the thing you didn't say 4 months ago, and the thing before that, and the thing before that. Every avoided conversation is a coin in a jar, and eventually the jar is full, and it shatters over dirty forks. I read that genuinely made my stomach drop.
Go.
There's this woman. She's been with her boyfriend for 8 years. 8 years. They have a nice life. Upper middle class, kids from previous relationships. Everything looks good from the outside.
Okay.
One day, she accidentally opens her Ring doorbell camera. You know, those cameras on your front door. And she sees her boyfriend standing outside with a friend. And through the audio, she hears him talking about their relationship.
Talking about it how?
He told his friend they were never getting married, that he didn't see a future. And this is the part that destroyed her. He shared something private about her son. something she'd told him in confidence. He was using her family's private information as casual gossip with his buddy on the porch. And she said she felt crushed. That's the word she used. Crushed. Not angry, not sad. Crushed. Like the floor disappeared.
8 years. And she found out the truth through a doorbell camera. Not through a conversation. Through surveillance.
And people in the comments said, "Why didn't you just ask him directly?" And she said she'd tried. She'd asked hypothetical questions. Where do you see us in 5 years? Do you ever think about marriage? But she never asked directly because she was afraid of the answer.
So she spent 8 years asking around the question instead of asking the question.
And a commenter wrote something that stuck with me. They said, "Why ask hypothetical scenarios? Be honest and to the point. You heard the conversation. Confront him. Have the talk. Make your choices."
Have the talk. Make your choices. Those 6 words are the entire episode. And what kills me about that story is she had 8 years of information that could have come from a single direct question. Do you see us getting married? Not hypothetically, directly. I need to know because I'm investing my life in this.
But direct questions are terrifying because direct questions get direct answers. And sometimes the direct answer is one you can't unhear.
Right. No, I don't see us getting married. That sentence ends a relationship, and some part of her knew that. So she asked sideways, hypothetically, safely, because safe questions get safe answers, and safe answers let you keep pretending.
Pretending is comfortable. Truth is not. But pretending has an expiration date, and when it expires, through a doorbell camera, through a drunk confession, through a friend who says, "Didn't you know?" The crash is always worse than the conversation would have been.
The conversation you avoid today becomes the crisis you face tomorrow. That's the rule, every single time.
Quick, like and subscribe, and write, "I'm," your name, "from," your country. And a conversation I've been avoiding is, you don't need to share details. Just name it. That's the first step.
Stay for word replay. Okay, so let's get practical. Because the language you use in a difficult conversation determines whether it goes well or explodes.
And most people, when they finally have the conversation, use explosion language because they've been holding it in so long that it comes out like a volcano.
You never listen to me! You always do this! You don't care about my feelings. These sentences start with you, and they land like punches.
And the other person? The second they hear, "You never," or "You always," they stop listening and start defending. The conversation is over before it started, because you turned it into a trial, and they're the defendant.
So, same feelings, different language. Instead of, "You never listen to me," I feel unheard sometimes, and I want to talk about it.
Instead of, "You always prioritize your friends over me," I've been feeling like I'm not a priority lately, and it's been bothering me.
Instead of, "You don't care," I need to feel more cared for. Can we figure that out together?
Notice, every sentence starts with I, not you. I feel. I need. I've been feeling. The I keeps the conversation about your experience. The you turns it into an attack.
And here's a phrase that's genuinely magic. I'm not trying to start a fight. I'm trying to understand. Say that before the hard part. It's like a verbal white flag. It tells the other person, I'm here to connect, not to win.
I'm not trying to start a fight. I'm trying to understand. If every difficult conversation started with that sentence, half of them would go better.
But sometimes it doesn't go well, even with perfect language. Because the other person isn't ready, or they're defensive, or they shut down.
Shut down. That's when someone goes quiet. Not calm quiet, wall quiet. They cross their arms. They look away. They say, fine, or whatever, or I don't want to talk about this.
And when someone shuts down, your instinct is to push harder. No, we need to talk about this. Don't walk away. But pushing someone who shut down is like trying to open a locked door by banging on it. You're not getting in. You're just making dents.
So what do?
You say, I can see this is hard. I don't need an answer right now. But I need you to know this matters to me. Can we come back to it tomorrow?
That sentence does 3 things. It validates their feeling. I can see this is hard. It removes pressure. I don't need an answer right now. And it keeps the door open. Can we come back to it?
It's patient. And patience in a difficult conversation is the hardest skill. Because you want resolution now. You want them to understand now. But sometimes now isn't available. And forcing now destroys later.
Forcing now destroys later. That should be on every couple's fridge.
But when it goes well, when both people stay open, difficult conversations are the most connecting thing 2 humans can do.
There's this woman who wrote about being vulnerable with her boyfriend. She said it was the hardest thing she'd ever done. She wanted to shut down. She wanted to not tell him how much he meant to her. Every instinct said, protect yourself. Don't show him how much you care, because if he knows, he has power over you.
That's the fear, right? Vulnerability feels like handing someone a weapon and trusting them not to use it.
But she did it anyway. She told him how she felt. Every time. Even when it was scary, and she said, every single time, it paid off. We got closer and more intimate, and it was the first time I could say that in any relationship.
Every single time it paid off.
And she realized, in past relationships, there was no effort to repair the rupture. The tough conversations divided them instead of connecting them, because neither person was willing to be vulnerable first. And that's the thing nobody talks about. Vulnerability has a payoff. Not always immediate, not always pretty. But the relationships that survive honest conversations become stronger than the ones that avoid them. It's like a bone that breaks and heals. The healed part is actually stronger than the original.
Relationships that break and repair become stronger than relationships that never break. Because the repair builds trust. It says, we can go through hard things together and come out the other side.
But relationships that never break, they're either lucky or they're avoiding the test. And untested relationships are fragile. One real storm and they shatter because they never practiced surviving one.
So in a weird way, the difficult conversation is the investment. It's not a threat to the relationship. It's the workout that makes it stronger. Someone has to go first. That's the rule of every difficult conversation. Someone has to be brave enough to say, this is how I feel, and I'm scared to tell you.
And this is important. I'm scared to tell you is not weakness. It's the strongest sentence in any relationship. Because it says, I trust you with my fear. I trust you with the unfinished, messy, shaking version of my feelings, not the polished version, the real one.
And for English learners specifically, having a difficult conversation in your second language is like playing a video game on the hardest difficulty setting.
And I want to share one more thing from the comments I read. Someone said, in past relationships, there was no effort to repair the rupture. And that's why the tough conversations would divide us instead of connect us.
No effort to repair. That's the key difference. The conversation itself isn't what damages relationships. The lack of repair afterward does. You can have a terrible conversation, yelling, crying, saying the wrong thing, and still come back the next day and say, "I'm sorry about how that went. Can we try again?"
Can we try again? That sentence is a relationship superpower. It says, I care about this more than my ego. I care about us more than being right.
And being right is the enemy of every difficult conversation. The moment you're trying to win, you've already lost the connection. Because conversations aren't courtrooms. Nobody should be on trial. Both people should be on the same team, facing the problem together, not facing each other with the problem between them.
Same team, same direction, different feelings. That's how healthy conflict works. The hardest difficulty.
Because you're doing two things at once, managing an emotion and finding the English words. And those two systems compete for brain power. Your emotional brain wants to cry or yell or shut down. Your language brain wants to find the right word. And they're both fighting for the same limited energy.
That's why so many English learners switch to their native language during arguments. Because the emotional brain wins. It says, I don't have time to find disappointed in English right now. I need to express this now, in the language that's fastest.
And if your partner speaks your language too, fine, switch. The point is communication, not performance. But if your partner only speaks English, you're stuck. And that's where pre-learned phrases help.
Memorize these, not because they're fancy, because your brain won't be able to think of them in the moment. Have them ready.
I need to talk about something that's been on my mind. Opening line. Calm, direct.
This is hard for me to say, so please be patient. Sets the tone.
I'm not blaming you. I just need you to hear how I've been feeling. Removes the attack.
Can we take a break and come back to this? When emotions are too high.
I love you and I'm committed to this. That's why I want to talk about it. The most powerful frame. And can I add something about timing? Because when you have the conversation matters almost as much as what you say.
Go.
Don't start a difficult conversation when you're already angry. Don't start it at midnight when you're both exhausted. Don't start it in public where the other person feels ambushed. And definitely don't start it through text.
Oh God, the text argument. Everyone's had a text argument where you're typing furiously and the other person is typing furiously, and you're both misreading tone because text has no tone. And suddenly you're in a full war over a message that started with, "Can we talk?"
Can we talk? The three most terrifying words in the English language. Nobody in the history of the world has received "Can we talk?" and felt relaxed.
Can we talk? Immediately triggers fight or flight. Your brain goes, oh no, what did I do? What does she know? Who told her? And one last thing about having these conversations in English. Your vocabulary doesn't need to be huge. You need maybe 10 phrases. And if you practice them, actually practice them, say them out loud, write them down. Your brain will find them when it needs them.
Because here's the thing about emotional vocabulary. You don't need 100 words. You need the right 5 at the right moment. And those 5 words, said honestly, with a shaking voice, in imperfect English, will always be more powerful than a perfect speech you never give.
An imperfect conversation that happens is always better than a perfect conversation that doesn't.
So instead of "Can we talk?" try "There's something on my mind and I'd love to talk about it when we're both free. Nothing urgent. I just want us to be on the same page."
That's so much better. It tells them a conversation is coming, so they're not ambushed, but it removes the panic. Nothing urgent. When we're both free. Same page. All calming language.
Set the conversation up for success. Don't throw it at someone like a grenade.
That last one. I love you and I'm committed to this. That's why I want to talk about it. If you memorize one sentence from this entire episode, memorize that one.
Pause.
If you've been listening and thinking about a specific conversation you need to have with someone specific about something specific, that's not anxiety. That's readiness. Your brain is preparing. And the fact that you're thinking about how to say it in English, that means your English is ready too. Even if it doesn't feel ready, it's ready. And one more thing. After the conversation, no matter how it goes, be kind to yourself. Difficult conversations are exhausting, emotionally, mentally, linguistically. You just did one of the hardest things a human can do, in a second language. That's not nothing.
Take a walk. Breathe. Don't replay every word. The conversation happened. It's out there now. And whatever comes next, you faced it. You didn't hide. You didn't avoid. You showed up.
And showing up imperfectly is always better than hiding perfectly.
Word replay. Confront.
To face a difficult situation or person directly. I need to confront this issue before it gets worse. Repeat. Confront.
Confront. Vulnerable.
Emotionally open and exposed. Being vulnerable with my partner changed everything. Repeat. Vulnerable.
Vulnerable. Defensive.
Protecting yourself from criticism by pushing back. He got defensive when I brought it up. Repeat. Defensive.
Defensive. Rupture.
A break or tear in a relationship. Every relationship has ruptures. What matters is repair. Repeat. Rupture.
Rupture. Resolve.
To find a solution or settle a disagreement. We resolved it by finally being honest. Repeat. Resolve.
Resolve.
5 words for the conversation that could change everything.
That's our episode.
If there's someone you need to talk to, and you know who they are, maybe tonight isn't the night, but maybe this week is the week. And when you do it, start with, I'm not trying to start a fight. I'm trying to understand.
Comments. I'm Glass from Sing, and a conversation I've been avoiding is...
And remember, a real conversation only destroys something that was fake. If what you have is real, the conversation won't break it. It'll make it something you can actually trust.
Take care of your relationships. The real ones deserve real words.
Take care of your journey, every messy, beautiful step of it. This was Real People, Real English.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. And please, have the conversation. Not the perfect one, just the honest one.